This is Old Celtic Tales by E M Wilmot-Buxton. Part 2 of The Lady of the Fountain, The Tale of Owain. When Kynon had related at Arthur's court the story of his adventure with the Black Knight, one of his companions, Owain by name, said, "Is it not befitting that one of us go and discover this place?" "It is very well to talk about it," said Sir Kai, "but 'tis harder to carry it out." Then Owain went away, and prepared his horse and his armor, and very early next morning he rode away in the direction which Kynon had pointed out to him. In due time he reached the castle, and was kindly received by the man in yellow, and set down before a very excellent meal. And the 24 maidens seemed even lovelier to Owain than they had to Kynon. When they asked him his errand, Owain replied that he was in quest of the knight who guards the fountain, and the yellow man, though very reluctantly, pointed out the way. All happened to Owain as it had to Kynon, save that the shower seemed more violent and the song of the birds even sweeter than before. And as they sang, the Black Knight appeared and rode violently upon Owain, but he was prepared to receive him, and they fought fiercely together. Their lances broke with the shock of their attack, and drawing their swords, they fought until Owain struck the knight a blow which pierced through helmet, skull, and brain. Then the Black Knight, knowing he had received a mortal blow, turned his horse and fled. But Owain pursued hard after him until they came to a lordly castle. When they reached the gate, the Black Knight was allowed to enter, but Owain was so close behind that, when the portcullis fell, it struck his horse behind the saddle, and cut him in two, carrying away the rowels of the spurs which were on Owain's heels. So the rowels and part of the horse were outside, and Owain was shut up inside with the other part of the horse between the two gates, for the inner one was closed. As the knight stood wondering what would happen next, he saw through an opening in the upper part of the gate a street facing him, with a row of houses on either side. And from one of these houses came out a maiden with yellow, curling locks, dressed in yellow satin, with shoes of party-colored leather. She approached the gate and desired him to open it. "Truly, lady," said Owain ruefully, "I can no more open it for you than you can for me." "That is very sad," said the damsel, "yet it is the part of every woman to do what she can to succor you. For you are a loyal squire of dames, so I will do whatever is in my power for you. Take this ring and put it on your finger with the stone inside your hand, and close your hand upon the stone. As long as you conceal it, it will conceal you. Presently, when they have consulted together, they will come to fetch you in order to put you to death, and will be much upset when they cannot find you. But I shall sit on the horse block yonder, and you will see me though I cannot see you. Come, therefore, and put your hand upon my shoulder, that I may know you are near, and whichever way I go, do you follow me." So Owain vanished from the sight of men, and sorely grieved were his foes when they came to seek him, and found only part of his horse. But he found the maiden and laid his hand upon her shoulder, and she led him to a splendid chamber, where even the nails were painted in beautiful colors, and there she gave him abundance of food in silver dishes, and left him to rest. Now on that night the nobleman who owned the castle, whom Owain had so grievously wounded, died, and the maiden of the golden locks presently brought Owain to a window from whence he might see the funeral procession. And foremost among the mourners walked the countess of that domain. She was so very beautiful that Owain fell deeply in love with her, and said to the maiden, "Verily, there goes the woman I love best in the world." "Truly," said the maiden, "she too shall love you not a little, and I will go woo for thee." So the maiden, whose name was Luned, went to the chamber of her mistress, the countess, and found her weeping, because now the Black Knight was slain, there was no one to defend her dominions. For so it was that, so long as the fountain was safe, all was well, but if that were not defended, all her lands would soon be lost. Then Luned said, "Surely you know that no one can defend the fountain except he be a knight of Arthur's household. Let me go to Arthur's court, and I will bring back with me a warrior who can guard the fountain as well as, or even better than, he who kept it formerly." "That will be a hard task," said the countess. "Go, however, and make good that which thou hast promised." But Luned did not go to Arthur's court. She went instead to the chamber of Owain, and having warned him to wait until it was due time, hid herself as long as it would have taken to travel to the court. Then she brought Owain a coat and mantle of yellow satin, on which were bands of broad gold lace, and for his feet shoes of softest leather, fastened by golden clasps in the shape of lions. And thus they proceeded to the chamber of the countess. But when they arrived, the countess looked steadfastly upon Owain and said, "Luned, this knight has not the appearance of a traveller." "Well, lady, he is none the worse for that," said Luned. "I am certain," said the countess, "that this is the man who killed my master, the Black Knight." "So much the better for you, lady," replied Luned, "for if he had not been stronger than your master, he could not have killed him. There is no use in crying over spilt milk." Then the countess looked again on Owain, and when she saw he was a very goodly knight and courageous withal, she began to return his affection for her, and soon afterwards they were married. So Owain defended the fountain with lance and sword, and whenever a knight came there, he overthrew him and ransomed him for his full worth, and what he then obtained he divided among his barons and his knights, so that he became very much beloved. And so 3 years passed away.
The Ultimate Question is a fully dramatized, award-winning fantasy story, available free for a limited time, wherever you listen to audiobooks or podcasts. Please find all the links by visiting uqstory.com.
Thanks for listening to Old Celtic Tales, presented as a free service by Schaefer Media Enterprises. Please like, share, follow, and subscribe.